In July 2013, the small town of Union County, North Carolina, was shaken by the brutal murder of Marvin Parker, a registered sex offender, and his wife, Gretchen Parker. Jeremy Lee Moody, aged 30, and Christine Moody, aged 36, were a self-proclaimed white supremacist couple who took it upon themselves to exact their own form of twisted justice. The crime was discovered when a concerned neighbor called 911, reporting a disturbance at the Parker residence. When deputies arrived, they were met with a grisly scene. Marvin and Gretchen Parker lay dead, each shot at close range with a .380 handgun, and then stabbed repeatedly. Surveillance footage led authorities straight to the Moody couple, who were soon arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder, kidnapping, and illegal possession of a firearm. The courtroom proceedings that followed were nothing short of a horror show. As the Moody couple faced sentencing, they initially pleaded for leniency, asking for a 30-year sentence so they could watch their children grow up and live out their lives together. But when the judge handed down consecutive life sentences, the Moody's true nature was laid bare. Jeremy Moody, with a brazen lack of remorse, taunted the victim's family.
That's what child molesters is.
Hurling vile insults at them. Christine Moody echoed her husband's callousness, declaring in the courtroom, "I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life."
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
Their chilling lack of remorse extended further as they admitted they had planned to target other sex offenders before being caught. "If I had to do it over again, I'd kill more," Jeremy confessed, revealing they had already selected their next victim. Psychologists argued that both Jeremy and Christine had been sexually abused as children, fueling their desire for revenge against those they perceived as similar offenders. However, this did little to mitigate the horror of their actions. The Moodys were also linked to a white supremacist group known as Crew 41, notorious for targeting sex offenders, though they denied that the murders were related to their affiliation with the group. The courtroom drama ended with the Moodys being sentenced to consecutive life terms, with no possibility of parole. The unraveling of Alex Murdaugh. The story of Alex Murdaugh, a once prominent personal injury attorney and heir to a powerful legal dynasty in South Carolina, is another case of courtroom shock and horror. On June 7, 2021, Murdaugh reported finding his wife Maggie and his son Paul dead near the dog kennels on their sprawling estate.
My wife and child badly.
For over a year, the case remained unsolved until July 2022, when Murdaugh himself was indicted on 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Murdaugh's trial was a spectacle, with the attorney vehemently denying his guilt despite mounting evidence against him.
And it shows this man to be a cunning manipulator, a man who placed himself above all others, including his family.
Prosecutors painted a picture of a man driven by desperation, alleging that Murdaugh had shot his wife and son at close range with a rifle and shotgun, possibly to divert attention from his financial misdeeds and gain sympathy. The case against him was largely circumstantial, relying on mobile phone data and gunshot residue, as no murder weapon was ever found. However, a video taken by Paul at the dog kennels just before the murders provided a crucial piece of evidence that contradicted Murdaugh's alibi.
Yes. Come. Quit. It's okay. Come here.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth!
Despite Murdaugh's tearful testimony, where he admitted to lying about his whereabouts on the night of the murders due to a long-standing addiction to prescription painkillers, the jury was not swayed. After less than 3 hours of deliberation, they found Murdaugh guilty of all charges. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
On each of the murder indictments, in the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh, I sentence you for the term of the rest of your natural life for the murder of Paul Murdaugh, whom you probably love so much.
Murdaugh's emotional courtroom breakdown did little to mitigate the overwhelming evidence of his guilt.
I don't think I was capable of reason.
And I lied about being down there.
Joseph DeAngelo's shocking admission. Joseph James. Joseph DeAngelo Jr., born in 1945, is an American serial killer whose reign of terror spanned from 1974 to 1986 in California. Known by various names, including the Visalia Ransacker, the East Area Rapist, and the original Night Stalker, DeAngelo committed at least 13 murders, 51 sexual assaults, and over 120 burglaries. Despite the scope of his crimes, DeAngelo evaded capture for decades until a breakthrough in 2018, when DNA evidence and forensic genetic genealogy led to his arrest. During his trial, DeAngelo faced charges for multiple counts of murder and kidnapping, though he could not be charged for the rapes due to California's statute of limitations. In June 2020, he pleaded guilty to the charges as part of a plea deal that spared him the death penalty. However, his behavior during the sentencing was as shocking as his crimes. After listening to emotional victim impact statements,
my father caught him twice staring in my bedroom window and tried to chase him down but was unable to catch him. He was wearing a ski mask and pointing a gun at me, saying that he was taking me with him and that if I made any noise, he would kill me. DeAngelo fired 2 shots, hitting my dad. He then turned the gun on me as I was down on the ground. My only thought was, this is it. And put my head down, expecting him to kill me.
DeAngelo offered only a brief and hollow apology. "I have listened to all your statements, and I'm truly sorry to everyone I've hurt."
Listened to all your statements, each one of them, and I'm really sorry to everyone I've hurt. Thank you, Your Honor.
Despite this, the court sentenced him to multiple consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never walk free again. Armin Meiwes, the cannibal who shocked the world. In one of the most bizarre and horrifying criminal cases of the 21st century, Armin Meiwes, a German computer technician, posted an advertisement on a cannibalism-themed internet forum in 2001, seeking a willing volunteer to be killed and consumed. Shockingly, he found a volunteer in Bernd Jürgen Brandes, a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. The two met at Meiwes' home, where they recorded the gruesome event. Brandes consented to having his penis amputated, which they then attempted to eat together. After this horrifying act, Brandes consumed a lethal mixture of pills and cough syrup, and Meiwes killed him by stabbing him in the throat. Meiwes then dismembered Brandes' body, storing the remains in his freezer under pizza boxes, and consumed the flesh over the course of several months. The case came to light in December 2002, when a college student came across Meiwes' new online ads for victims and alerted the authorities. In 2004, Meiwes was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison. However, a retrial in 2006 led to his conviction for murder, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Meiwes' actions were attributed to severe mental illness, though during his trial, he expressed regret, hoping to dissuade others from following in his footsteps.
This can never be the right way. The wishes, the fantasies you have, that these can never ever be fulfilled.
Mark Latunsky's horrific crimes. The case of Mark Latunsky, a 52-year-old man charged with the brutal murder of his Grindr date, Kevin Bacon, on December 24, 2019, is another chilling example of courtroom horror. Latunsky and Bacon met through the Grindr dating app, but what should have been a simple encounter turned into a nightmare. Bacon's body was found in Latunsky's basement on December 28, 2019, after his roommate reported him missing when he failed to show up for Christmas breakfast. During the trial, it was revealed that Latunsky had not only stabbed Bacon in the back and slit his throat,
You used a knife to stab Mr. Bacon.
Yes, I did.
but had also engaged in acts of cannibalism, consuming parts of Bacon's body, including one of his testicles.
After Mr. Bacon was dead, did you remove part of his body, specifically his testicles?
Latunsky's criminal history included multiple encounters with the police before Bacon's death, with previous victims describing him as a dangerous individual. Despite these alarming incidents, Latunsky was not charged until it was too late. In court, Latunsky showed no remorse, admitting to the gruesome details of the murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His case highlighted significant failures in the mental health system, as it was revealed that Latunsky had been diagnosed with major depression, paranoid schizophrenia, and traits of a personality disorder, but had not been receiving consistent treatment. The judge's final words to Latunsky were stark, sentencing him to life with no chance of ever being released.